Have you ever spent hours of your life revising for a test to then feel personally attacked by the mark that you get back on said paper? Well, this video is for you. And here's the good news. It's not you, it's your revision. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to fix that revision. 3 very simple steps. If you don't know me, I'm Iz Clark. I've been a teacher for 5 years, so I've taught thousands of grade 9 and A-star pupils, and exactly what works for them is what I am now going to share with you. And we've all experienced that frustration, but you can fix it. Okay, step 1 to fixing it. You are in denial if you are doing the following, and 90% of you will be doing this and you should not be doing this. If you are making your own notes for a test, you are not revising, you are in denial. Bear with me for this. It is a mistake for you to start your revision by making notes. Making notes is an extremely passive revision technique, and actually all that you're doing when you're making those notes is tricking yourself that you are being productive, that you are revising, and you're making yourself feel better because there's no understanding there. You can't get it wrong making your notes. So you're not actually facing whether you really know and understand the material or not. It feels safe. Trust me, I get it. That is what I used to do. But when I swapped my revision from taking notes to testing myself first, that changed everything for me. And if you're thinking to yourself, how am I meant to test myself on anything, or how am I meant to be prepared if I don't actually have the notes written down first? There's loads of free notes out there. For example, GCSE chemistry, GCSE physics, check them out on my website. I've done the hard work for you. Don't complain about the amount of time that you've spent revising and then actually duplicate the workload when someone's already done the hard work for you. Just steal them, steal the notes. The most important thing is not the notes, is testing yourself on the notes. So that's phase 1 of sorting out your revision. Do not make any notes. Start by testing yourself on someone else's notes. Now, phase 2, I'm going to tell you exactly how you are going to test yourself, and I'm going to give you some real examples to follow. If you are enjoying this video so far and you want more free exam tips and advice, then head to the link in the description below, because there you'll find my 20-minute free exam success guide. This guide has helped students improve their grades by 3+ just in 20 minutes, and it's completely for free. So make sure to check it out. Okay, this phase does depend on the subject that you are looking at, and it also depends on the content that you are attempting to revise. So I am going to split this phase broadly into 3. Recall content, content that requires understanding, and content that requires technique. Okay, let's deal with the recall content first. So this could be something like learning a load of English quotes. And I am going to teach you my step-by-step bulletproof method in exactly how I would learn a set of information that I was just needing to regurgitate in my exam. So what you would do, get your page of quotes, read it, try and memorize it, and spend 10 minutes doing this. Set yourself a timer that holds you accountable and helps to keep your focus and keep you locked in and engaged on committing that information to memory. Okay, then's the great bit. Go, walk away, and literally do something else for 5 minutes. Set yourself a 5-minute timer, just chill out, have a scroll, have a cup of tea. Right, then you come back, and what you do is you grab yourself another sheet of paper and you give yourself another 10-minute timer. You are going to try and recall all of that information, so all of those English quotes, down onto this scrap piece of paper. Don't worry about your handwriting. Don't worry about anybody else being able to read these notes. This is just for you. You should be doing it as quickly as possible. And what you're actually doing here is you're making use of active recall. Active recall is just dragging information from your memory back out onto the page. Sometimes this kind of idea of writing all these things down is called blurting. And any revision method that makes use of this active recall will work for 99% of students. So anyway, you've blurted it out. Okay, now what do? Go back, check it against your original quotes. Spend 5 minutes doing this task. And then in a different colour onto your piece of paper, write out those quotes that you either misquoted or that you forgot altogether. You are then going to save both pieces of paper, and in a day, you are going to come back and repeat the blurting out process And this time round, hopefully you will remember those bits that you forgot yesterday. Repeating the task 24 hours later is making use of spacing, which is actually recalling information at spaced intervals. Again, you can't do any effective revision without spacing involved. You then do the same thing a few days later. You must do this step. Pupils hate this step because it feels like they're not making any progress because they're just retesting themselves on content that they've already done. That is a mistake. If you don't retest yourself, that information will drain from your brain unless you're superhuman, which I don't think you are. And so let me ask you this. What was the point in doing that revision in the first place if then it was going to all drain from your brain? It's not a waste of your time. It is a necessary revision strategy. Okay, second type of learning is when you are trying to learn something that you will need to actually be able to understand. And I would very much make use of YouTube for this. In fact, doing this saved my own physics A level. Find a creator in that subject that you like on YouTube. Let's say you were trying to learn Hooke's law. My video, you shouldn't have. Anyway, here's what I would do. Before you watch the video, get a piece of paper, write anything that you know about that subject on the piece of paper. This doesn't matter if you feel like you know nothing, literally just write the title down. Any little bits of information is important here because it's actually a memory trick. It's providing a schema, which means that now any information you absorb from that video will be directed into the correct place in your memory. So you write it out. Then as you are moving through the video, what you do is you pause and have a go at any examples or any questions that are thrown up in that video. And honestly, doing this, the more mistakes you make, the better. There is a psychological effect that means that when you have actually made a mistake and then you're trying to figure out why you made that mistake, it sticks in your brain much better than if you had just been given that information in the first place. Then once you've done that, it's time for you to actually have a go at some follow-up questions. Nothing heavy, just 3 to 5 follow-up questions. So I might do some Hooke's law calculations just to make sure that I have now understood that information and I can do questions independently. Okay, on to type 3, which is when you're trying to revise some kind of skill. So let's say you are doing some geography 12 markers and you've already done the blurting exercise to have all of that information about the case studies and things that you need to recall. But what you're actually struggling with is the technique to then write that in a way that will get you 12 out of 12. This is what I would do for this. Any 12 markers that you have done in the past, grab them, grab the teacher feedback and feed that into ChatGPT, and also feed the mark scheme and any examiner's reports you find online into ChatGPT. So what you're doing here is you're just training it on the kind of answer that is going to give 12 out of 12. Then have a go at doing some of the answers. If you don't type in exams, it's important that you do actually do this handwritten and do them to time. That way you're practicing the exam technique and how much information you can actually get down on a page in a given amount of time. It also helps to keep your revision a bit snappy. If you've only got 12 minutes to do something, it doesn't feel like such of a drag to do it. Then once you've done your answer, feed it back into ChatGPT and get it to give you advice based on the mark scheme, the teacher's feedback and everything that you've fed it so far. Then take the advice, try again. The best thing about AI is it's super patient as a teacher, way more patient than I ever was in my 5 years teaching. It will tell you again and again, it will help you refine that technique. Okay, so that is your strategy for revision. You do need then to actually practice some proper past papers or past paper questions, depending on the test that you're revising for. And if you actually apply yourself to this strategy of constantly keeping it active and testing yourself during your revision, you will see grade transformations like my student who went from a B to an A star in 3 weeks just by taking on this advice. Now, my final tip for you is like my signature. I tell every pupil to do it. I won't stop talking about it. I don't think I can talk about it enough, because if there is one thing that I could get every single pupil to do, it would be this. And it's hard because you won't want to, because psychologically it's quite a hard thing to do. You have to log your mistakes, and we don't like looking back at our mistakes, and we like to kind of brush them under the rug, and when I get a bad test score I want to just shove it in my bag and forget about it. No. Any mistakes that you make during those questions, or any mistakes actually that you've made during that whole revision process, you should be keeping a log of those mistakes. I call it my grade builder book, which is a bit naff, but it does get the point. If you keep a log of those mistakes, and not only that mistake, but also the correction, and also categorize the mistake, you will see ridiculous improvements in your grade. So for example, let's say you were revising for a physics test, you've done a Hooke's law calculation, and when you look at the answer, you got it wrong. You would write out the question, you would write out your answer like this. Then what you would do is look at the mark scheme and write your corrections in. So here it's because something was meant to be in meters and I left it in centimeters. And then what I would do is categorize that mistake. So that was a conversion calculation mistake. I need to look out for conversions in other questions, not just this question. Keep going with that, and then you will have the best day before resource that you could possibly make, completely 100% tailored to you and your particular weaknesses. Okay, and so finally, I just want to finish this video by saying, what if you didn't actually work very hard? What if one of the things that you are struggling with is to find the motivation in order to do these things? You think, yeah, those are some great ideas, but if I'm being honest with myself, I'm actually not going to apply any of them to future revision. If that is you, then I suggest that you watch my video, which is what to do when you have zero motivation. If you're going to procrastinate, it's probably the best kind of procrastination you can do. So give it a watch.